Welcome to the .NET MAUI Bottom Sheet tutorial. Using the Syncfusion.NET MAUI Bottom Sheet, you can pull up content from the bottom of the screen, allowing you to engage with supplementary information without leaving the main interface. In this video, I will show you how to incorporate the .NET MAUI Bottom Sheet control into the .NET MAUI application. I will demonstrate how to display content in the bottom sheet and control its transition. Before you begin, ensure you have installed the latest version of Visual Studio 2022 with the required .NET MAUI workload. You should also have one of the .NET SDKs installed on your machine. After installing the necessary tools, launch Visual Studio 2022 and click Create a new project on the dashboard. From the list of project templates, select the .NET MAUI application and provide the project name and location. Next, create a project with the .NET 9.0 framework. Now the default application is ready to use. Before moving forward, let me take a quick detour to set up the application's environment. I select the Android emulators from the list to view the output in the Pixel 5 emulator. Next, I will run the application to show you the default output. The application compiles the default code in a few seconds. Now the application's home page is displayed. Next, to incorporate Bottom Sheet into the application, I need to install the Syncfusion MAUI Toolkit NuGet package. So I open the NuGet Package Manager and switch to the Browse tab. I search for the Syncfusion MAUI Toolkit package, select the package, and then proceed with the installation in my project. After the package is installed, I need to register the handler for Syncfusion Toolkit to map the cross-platform control API to the native View API. I open the MAUI program CS file and add the Syncfusion MAUI Toolkit hosting namespace. Then I register the handler by adding the Configure Syncfusion Toolkit method. Next, I navigate to the main page XAML to initialize the control. I will remove the default code from the content page section and import the Syncfusion MAUI Toolkit bottom sheet namespace. Then I will initialize the .NET MAUI bottom sheet control, which provides a slide up panel. To display the bottom sheet, I will make use of the button control. Within the bottom sheet control, I define its content property and add a vertical stack layout with 20 units of padding around it. Within this layout, I include a button control that triggers the bottom sheet. I define the text to be displayed on the button and set a clicked event that triggers the Open Bottom Sheet method when the button is clicked. Next, I will set the button width to 180, round the button's corners, and center it vertically. Now I navigate to the Open Bottom Sheet method. Within this method, I call the Show method to open the bottom sheet. Once the application is loaded, a button will be displayed. Clicking the button will make the bottom sheet appear smoothly. To display content in the bottom sheet, first I navigate to the main page XAML. Then define a bottom sheet content property. Next, I add a label control with text to be displayed in the bottom sheet. I center the text both horizontally and vertically, and set the text size to 18 for better readability. When I click the button, the bottom sheet will slide up and shows the content. As you can see, the bottom sheet adjusts its size based on the interaction. To control the transition between the fully expanded and collapsed states, set the allowed state property to full expanded. By default, it is set to all, which means it allows all types of transitions. When I click the button, the bottom sheet expands to cover the entire screen height. You can also cover half of the height by modifying the allowed state property to half expanded. Now the bottom sheet covers half of the height. When I click the button, a bottom sheet and a gray background appear, blocking interaction with other parts of the screen except for the bottom sheet. However, you can interact with other parts of the screen while the bottom sheet is still open by setting the is modal property to false. After clicking the button, you can interact with other areas of the screen while the bottom sheet remains open. Next, I will demonstrate how to build a user interface that displays a list of books. Additionally, when a book from the list is tapped, the bottom sheet will pop up to show its details. To do this, first I navigate to the main page CS file. Here, I will create a model class named Book that represents a book with properties such as title, genre, publication date, description, and price. Next, I create a View model class that contains an observable collection of books, which automatically notifies the UI of any changes. Then I will populate this collection with sample data. In the constructor, I initialize the books property and add a variety of book objects to the collection to showcase different genres, publication dates, and prices. After that, I move to the main page XAML file and remove the previous customizations from the bottom sheet control. Next, I will explain how to display a list of books with their titles and descriptions. To do this, first I need to integrate the .NET MAUI list view control into the bottom sheet control. I will copy the code snippet from the documentation page and paste it here. In this example, I have bound a list of books to the list view control and applied customizations using the template option. To learn more about getting started with the MAUI list view and how to customize the control, check the video links and documentation links provided in the description below. Furthermore, I have included the item tapped event along with the list view item tapped method to detect when a user selects an item and change the state of the bottom sheet to make it partially expanded. Next, in the bottom sheet control, I specify the value for the half expanded ratio to expand up to 35% of the screen. Inside the bottom sheet content, I use a vertical stack layout to display the book's details and assign a name to it. Before moving forward, I navigate to the list view item tapped method and set the binding context of the bottom sheet to the item to display the book details. Next, within the bottom sheet content, I use a grid with 2 columns for each piece of information, one column for the label and another for the value. Likewise, I add the grid for genre, publication date, and description. For the price, I use a formatted string to include a $sign alongside the price value, which is formatted to 2 decimal places. Now I run the application. When I tap on a book, the bottom sheet slides up to display the book's details. Let me wrap up this video. You have learned how to incorporate the Syncfusion.NET MAUI Bottom Sheet control into the .NET MAUI application. You have also learned how to display content in the bottom sheet and control its transition. If you want to see this example's working code, download it from the GitHub link in the description below. I have also included a link to check if you qualify for our community license, which gives you a free license key for our entire .NET MAUI controls. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.